Within my opening sequence, my portrayal of a young female subverts the normal view society has of them. The young females are shown in a fragile state, conveyed by them being in the help group, and the close-ups showing their facial expressions as hurt and vulnerable. This can be very typical of a social drama film, in which they show young people who are faced with a conflict, and then the film's narrative resolves this. An example can include 2011's film Cyberbully, in which a young girl is subjected to internet attacks of bullying as the conflict, and the film sets out to find the resolve. What is not stereotypical of a social drama is how I have used a female protagonist in order to present a social dilemma. This happens very frequently within social dramas, as the target audience for this genre is a female majority, meaning there is going to be a greater affluence if the audience can easily relate to the character. I can also prove this by the 65% of females aging from 16 to 20 within my questionnaire agreeing they find more relation to a protagonist if they are of the same gender. The socio-economic group I have portrayed my protagonist Sally is as a mainstreamer within the psychographics. She is a conformist and conventional while still trying to please people. This is why, within the opening sequence, she lies about where she is to her abusive boyfriend, in hope that if she tries to comply with him, he won't hurt her. The mise-en-scene of her character can also represent this, as she is wearing clothes typical of a young female, and that also don't pull her out from the crowd. She is set under the radar within society, and as a result she is a stereotypical character within a social drama film, as the social problem she is facing will bring her out of her character in order to find a resolve within the narrative, which in this case is domestic abuse. This can be seen in such films as Billy Elliot, as Billy would not normally be seen as a main protagonist within a film, but his part within the storyline allows him to break the socio-economic mould he is in. Her socio-economics can be represented as E, as she is 17 and still in full-time education, but her family will come in the form of C1, which are mostly white-collar jobs. This can be shown by her appearance, as it is not portrayed as rough, and her accessories such as an iPhone, conveying she can afford expensive tech. This contrasts to the older character, who plays the help group leader. She can be seen as belonging to a higher socio-economic group, portrayed by her costume and tone of voice. Her costume is simple, but highlights she has a steady job and lives comfortably within society. This is typical of a social drama film. Such films as Tyrannosaur see a main female protagonist being from a well-off background, as Olivia Colman's character was. Her tone of voice insinuates she is being educated, and this represents her as a maternal figure within the opening sequence, being the character to care for the young girls within her help group. I have presented my help group characters as stereotypical representations of youth by their costumes, but have also subverted some aspects of the normal youth that people will associate with young people. These characters are not happy-go-lucky characters who simply enjoy their youth. They are facing the dark side of domestic relationships, and as a result this causes them to be seen in a helpless light by the audience.